Hi everyone, thanks for coming back to the channel. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, as always. Um, Today we're going to talk about contracts and boat inspections. Now this is going to be an incredibly dry subject, there's no getting away from it. But this kind of lesson is based on the experience I've had. If you're buying privately, person to person, you may not be asked to sign a contract, but certainly there are aspects of what I went through a contractual process that you can take into that kind of private sale space as well. The first thing to be aware of is that if you go through a registered brokerage here in the UK, they're likely to be using a templated contractual form based on the Association of Brokers and Yacht Agents, and it looks something a bit like this, and I'll put an overlay image now. It's about 6 pages long, with the 7th page being an appendix of any other kit or gear that's going to be sold with the boat. Immediate items on that contract you need to look at is the deposit you're going to have to pay. So I had to pay a 10% deposit of the value of the boat. Different brokerages might vary that based on the value, but again, check that out and make sure you've got the funds to be able to pay that deposit. But the thing is to be mindful of, as soon as you sign this agreement, there are a few clocks that start ticking, and those clocks are in section 10 and section 11. So section 10 is about an inspection or survey, and number 11 is about a sea trial. Both of these things have a time window of approximately 14 days on the default contract. So that made me quite nervous, because until I could get my expert to come and do a sea trial with me and line up a boat surveyor to do the survey, that 14-day window was going to disappear quite quickly. So I made sure that I didn't sign this contract until I was confident that I had those things in place. So again, just be very mindful of those dates. The two other elements that are related to that to really kind of pull out are section 25 and 26. 25 is about the survey, and number 26 is about the sea trial. Make sure you do your sea trial first. There's no point paying out for a survey if, when you go to drive the boat on sea trial, it is a complete dog. You just don't want to waste the money. Again, that goes down like a cup of cold sick. So do your sea trial. Being a boat virgin, I wasn't confident enough to do that on my own, so I took an expert from the family. And whilst we went to look at that, don't assume that the seller of the boat is going to have kit that you can use, like a life jacket. So again, at this stage in the process, I didn't have any of that kit myself, so I asked my expert if I could use some of their kit as well. There are potential costs when doing a sea trial, so the seller may charge you for the cost of fuel or oil or anything else that's not agreed, i.e. potential crude that you might want to take out. But also on the contract, it does say generally that they can't be longer than 4 hours for a sea trial, and it can't be for more than 5 miles offshore. For me personally, I was just testing it in the local area, and that's pretty much all you're going to need for probably your first boat, if it's of a much smaller value than some kind of luxury yacht. In terms of doing the sea trial, we let the seller take the boat out of the marina, so if they pranged it, it's at their cost. We waited till we got into open water where there's nothing to hit before my expert took the helm and put the boat to its paces once the engine had warmed up. Whilst he was doing that, I took the opportunity to go and look throughout the boat, open up cubby holes, go into the front berth, open up the cockpit locker, so I could just look for water ingress and listen for shakes and rattles that I wasn't expecting. Once my expert had done his kind of road test, so to speak, I did my go of it as well, going out through the rev range, looking for responsiveness, making sure the engine's pulling cleanly and it was turning and gripping nicely on the water, and it was doing all of those things. And being a boat virgin, I kind of just said, yeah, it's fine. But my expert did say the boat seems to be in good working order. We were on the water for maybe 25-30 minutes, and after that we gave control back to the seller so he could take us back to the marina, and then we just kept the engine ticking over whilst we was in the marina once we berthed it and tied it all off, just so we could make sure there were no other issues with the engine that we hadn't seen either on the water or before the sea trial started. If you're happy with that, then I would say go for the survey. Now, again, as a boat virgin, all I can say is what I looked at on my inspection, and my expert on the sea trial came up with the same kind of observations as I did. But when you ask for a surveyor to look at your boat, they're going to be doing a lot more than what we would typically look at. So they're going to go through all the safety equipment, they're going to look at all the firefighting equipment, they're going to be looking at the superstructure, the hull, the decks, all the kind of mooring gear, everything you can think of, the engine. But the most important thing for me was that they were also going to be looking at the moisture content of the hull. Now, the boat I bought, my Beneteau, it had been in the water for well over a year without being lifted, so I was conscious that if there was a problem with any parts of the laminate, was it absorbing moisture more than it should be. So again, they use moisture meters to check that throughout different parts of the hull, and thankfully it came up with the clean bill of health. So typically when you ask for a surveyor to do this kind of job, they'll give you a report, and it looks something a bit like this. And again, I'll put an overlay here on the screen for you. But things to be mindful of in terms of cost. So I had a surveyor in mind that I wanted to use, but because the brokerage sales last year was so strong, trying to use my preferred surveyor was proven to be a complete and utter nightmare. So I ended up going to the brokerage themselves and asking for a local surveyor, and they gave me I think a list of about 6 or 7 that I could use. I found all of them, and the average cost that I got from those that I didn't know was a range of £14 per foot of boat to £18 per foot of boat. And to be honest, the guy that I used, John Munns, was almost slap bang in the middle there, and I have to say the quality of the report is fantastic. The moisture meter readings were fantastic, and something that I was really looking forward to seeing. He also found some of the blemishes in the GRP that I showed on the previous video by the heads compartment. He commented on all those things as well. So again, not much came out that I wasn't expecting, but it was great to get that absolute confirmation before paying the balance of the boat and completing the sale. So hopefully that hasn't bored you too much. If you like the content, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love it if you could press the subscribe button so you don't miss future content. The next video I'm going to do is going to be about what immediate kit you'll need when you take ownership of your boat so that you can use it safely, and that'll be coming hopefully in the next few days. So until next time, please take care and stay safe, and hopefully soon we'll be out of lockdown. Take care.